everyone. Myself, Mrs. Diksha Anand, Assistant Professor, Department of Civil Engineering, AGIT Mangalore. So, in this class, we'll be discussing about Module 3 from Concrete Technology for 4th SEM Civil Engineering students. And this is part 1 of hardened concrete. So, in Module 3, we'll be discussing about hardened concrete. So far in concrete technology, we have discussed about the concrete ingredients, and then after collecting all the materials, we have studied the properties of the fresh concrete and what are the different tests to determine the properties of the fresh concrete, and some other properties we have studied in the last module. And coming to the third module, in part 1, we'll be studying about the introduction part of the hardened concrete. What are the properties of the hardened concrete, and what is gel space ratio, and whatever the notes I have sent you given for the students, you can refer these slides or these contents from page number 1 to page number 25 in module 3. So moving on to the topics under hardened concrete. The compaction of the concrete, and what are the advantages and the factors affecting the compaction of the concrete. So compaction of the concrete usually we'll be doing in the fresh state of the concrete, so that what we have studied in the last class or in the last module. Compaction of the concrete, or what are the different tests done on compaction, or what are the equipments used to do the compaction on the of the concrete. So advantages and the factors. So when we do compaction to the concrete, how it affects the concrete? So obviously it will reduce the voids. So our main aim, compaction is nothing but removal of the air voids. So we should know, so one should know what is the meaning of the compaction. So compaction is nothing but removal of the air voids. So as the air voids reduces, the strength of the concrete obviously it will get increased. So advantages of the concrete, first one, that is voids reduction. Second one is reduces the internal friction. So why it reduces the internal friction? Because so when the compaction takes place, all the gaps will be filled by the minor particles, which will be completely packed. So it reduces the internal friction. So next one, the bond strength increases. So bond strength increases. So here the fine aggregate, coarse aggregate, and the fine paste of the cement will combine together, and as the void spaces decreases, there will be the good bond strength. And the remove of the entrapped strength removes entrapped air entrapped strength, and 5% voids and 30% strength reduction, 10% voids over 50% strength, and 100% compaction it should be. And water cement ratio, so what should be the water cement ratio? It should be 38%, that is 0.38. So this one we have studied. So this water cement ratio is equal to 38% hydration, that we have studied in our first module during while studying about the hydration process. And the water cement ratio and the air walls, and the strength decreases 5% for every 1% of the air walls. So if there is 1% of the air walls in there during the compaction or in the concrete, it decreases about 5% of the strength. Or the introduction. So in the last slide, what we have seen, that is compaction of the concrete, that is about the fresh concrete. And when the hydration process, so as the hydration process continues, so the concrete will be in the fresh state, and it can be modified. And when it get hardened, so when the cement get hardens, or when the concrete get hardened, we can say the concrete is in the hardened state. So we'll see what are the introduction. So what is the introduction part? So property of the concrete is its strength. And strength means, so how we can determine the strength of the concrete? So we can one can see the strength of the concrete only after the fresh concrete turns into the hardened state. So what are the types of strength we can determine? Usually we can determine, so first one is a compressive strength, second one is a tensile strength, and the third one is flexural strength. So these are the three important tests done to determine the strength of the concrete: compressive, tensile, and flexural strength. So failure of the concrete occurs due to compressive force and the shear force. So we can see the failure of the concrete during or while determining its compressive, or by applying the compressive force as well as shear force. So compressive force can be applied. So concrete can be compressed both in vertical as well as um, horizontal direction. It can be compressed, and we can see the failure of the concrete. And compressive strength, we can determine the compressive strength for cubes of the concrete. So we can mold the cubes of size 150 mm by 150 mm by casting the cubes, and it can be filled in the cubes, and it can be removed after 24 hours and kept in water tank for curing. And we can determine the compressive strength for 3 days, 7 days, and 28 days. And 28 days strength will be the maximum strength um, according to the highest standards, and it determines the grade of the concrete. And compressive stress is a resistance against compressive force extended by external load. So we can determine the compressive stress by applying the external loads on the um, cubes. The cohesion and the internal friction developed by the concrete to resist failure is related to mainly water cement ratio. Now, what are the factors influencing the mix? So, when we do the mix, or when we go for any of the mix, so what are the factors that influence the mix? So, first one is the cement ratio of the cement to mixing water. So, what should be the amount of the cement and what should be the amount of the water? So, next is ratio of cement to the aggregate. So, for the amount of cement, what should be the aggregate? And grading surface texture, shape, strength, stiffness of the aggregate particle, and maximum size of the aggregates. So we'll be going with, so usually to do the design mix, so some of the concrete will be having the mixes, but when we go for the higher version, we should refer the code books. And the code book, that is will be, so when we go for the model 4, we'll be studying about the concrete mix design using IS code 10262 2009. So they so if we consider the concrete mix of 1 is to 2 is to 3, and what does that 1 refers to, 2 refers to, 3 refers to, or 1 is to 1.5 is to 3? So what does this numerical number refers to? So all these we'll be studying in the mix design, and all these factors that influences the mix: cement to the mixing water, cement to the aggregates, and its surface texture, shape, strength, stiffness, and the maximum size of the aggregate. Next is water cement ratio. So what is water cement ratio? So it is the ratio of volume of water to the volume of the cement. So usually how we'll write water cement ratio, that is W divided by C. So what does W refers to? W refers to water and C refers to cement. So the ratio of W by C is equal to ratio of water cement, and to get a constant and workable concrete mix. This indicates the strength of the concrete primarily depends on the strength of the cement paste. And strength of a cement paste increases with amount of cement content and decreases with more air and more water content. So will be so when the concrete is in the fresh state, we'll be determining the workability of the concrete. So we can check the workability of the concrete when the concrete is in the fresh state. So when it is when it is difficult to compact, it is not easy to handle the concrete, or it is not user friendly. So for that, what we do is we should not keep on adding the water. So as we keep on adding the water, what happens to the strength of the concrete paste? The concrete strength of the paste increases with amount of cement content and decreases. So when the cement content increases, so when we increase the cement content, the strength of the paste increases, but it decreases with the more air as well as more water content. The following are the different equations to estimate the strength of the concrete. So there are to estimate the strength of the concrete. So there are different equations. So in that, the first one, that is Abrams formula. So Abrams formula, so that is nothing but S is equal to A divided by B to the power X, where B should be equal to 7. So what is this 7? 7 is nothing but 7 days strength, and X is equal to B to the power X. This small x is equal to water cement ratio, and capital A is equal to constant. It should be constant, 14,000 lips per square inch. Next is Ferret's formula. So Ferret's formula is represented by S is equal to K into C divided by C plus E plus A whole square. So this is the formula to determine the strength of the concrete using Ferret's formula, where S is equal to strength of the concrete, C is equal to volume of the cement. S is equal to, we need to determine, that is strength of the concrete, and C is equal to volume of the cement, and K is equal to, capital K is equal to constant, and E is equal to volume of water, and A is equal to volume of air to the power square or to the power 2. Abrams water cement ratio formula states that the strength of the concrete is not only depend on water cement ratio provided, the mix is workable. Next is, what is the relationship between the compressive strength and the water cement ratio? So as we increase the water or as we increase the cement, how it affects the compressive strength of the concrete? So we can see here the graph which represents the vibration. So due to vibration, what is the compaction? Due to hand compaction, what is the compressive strength? And if it is fully compacted concrete, what is the compressive strength? And what should be the water cement ratio? So as the water cement ratio increases, as the water cement ratio increases, the compressive strength decreases. But for the limited water cement ratio, the compressive strength will be very high. So the graph itself is insufficiently compacted concrete. So this is insufficiently compacted concrete. That is vibration as well as hand compaction, the relationship between the strength and the water cement ratio. So next is gel space ratio. So far what we have studied about water cement ratio, and in the present slide we'll be studying about the gel space ratio. So here, instead of relating the strength to water cement ratio, the strength can be more correctly related to the solid products of the hydration of the cement to the space available for the formation of this product. So we have studied about the gel formation, that is CSH gel, CSH gel in the hydration process. Like what is the last product, final product during the hydration process. So here we are studying about the gel space ratio. It can be or here the strength can be more correctly related to the solid products of the hydration of the cement to the space available for the formation of this product. See, Powers and Brown Yard have established the relationship gel between the strength and the gel space ratio, and here it can be defined as this ratio. The gel space ratio can be defined as a ratio of volume of the hydrated cement paste to the sum of volume of hydrated cement and the capillary pores. So gel space ratio means, so what is gel space ratio? The amount of cement paste and the volume required to get that paste, and the amount of cement paste and the volume required to get that paste. If the amount of gel formed is known as, the strength is known, and the strength can be estimated as follows. So how we can determine the gel space ratio using what formula? So gel space ratio, so it can be defined, it can be defined in different formulas, using different formulas. So here, Powers experiment here, relationship between the gel space ratio. So he has given the formula: S is equal to 240 x cube. S is equal to 240 x cube. So where 240 represent the strength of intrinsic strength in MPa, that is Newton per mm square, for the type of the cement and the specimen used. S is equal to 240 x cube, where when x is a gel space ratio, and gel space ratio for the complete hydration. So for the partial hydration as well as the complete hydration, for the complete hydration, gel space ratio is equal to, see here, you understand the formula. S is equal to 240 x cube, where x is nothing but the space ratio, and this x can be represented in two forms, that is for complete hydration as well as partial hydration. So x is equal to volume of gel divided by space available, volume of gel divided by space available, and this formula is used for when the uh, when the concrete is in, or when the gel space ratio is in complete hydration. The volume of the gel can be determined by 0.657 C divided by 0.319 C plus W naught, and gel space ratio for the partial hydration, x is equal to 2.06 into 0.319 into C alpha divided by 0.319 C x plus W naught. So in the question, if they ask that when the gel phase ratio for the complete hydration as well as the partial hydration, by referring to the question, we can use these formula and substitute in the formula. S is equal to 240 x cube. So where alpha is equal to fraction of the cement that is hydrated. For example, if the rate of hydration is 60%, X alpha is equal to zero point 0.6, and the gel space ratio can be calculated at any age and for any fraction of hydration of the cement. Next is relationship between the compressive strength of the mortar and the gel space ratio. Compressive strength of the mortar and gel space ratio. So here you can see along x-axis I have taken gel space ratio, and along y-axis, that is strength of 50 cubes there in MPa, Newton per square. So 20 Newton per square, 40, 60, 80 and 100. So it is pointed out that relationship between the strength and the water cement ratio will hold good primarily for 28 days strength and for fully compacted concrete, whereas a relationship between the strength and the gel space ratio is independent of the age. Next is factors. So what are the factors which affects the gel space ratio? So we have studied what are the factors which affects the compaction of the concrete, and other factors we have studied, and now coming to factors affecting the gel space ratio. Cement paste contains many discontinuous, such as first one is voids, second is bleeding concrete, third one is rupture of the bond due to drying shrinkage, fourth one is temperature stress. And so these are the factors. So these are the four factors, that is voids, bleeding concrete, rupture of the bond due to drying shrinkage, and the temperature stresses. Next is maturity concept of the concrete. Here, the strength of the concrete depends both on, so maturity concept. Maturity is nothing but the life age or the life. So here, the strength of the concrete depends on both time and temperature. Concrete strength is a function of summation of products of time and temperature. This is known as maturity concept. And sample of the concrete for 28 days is taken as fully mature concrete. So usually we'll be considering 28 days strength as a maximum strength of the concrete. Maturity is equal to summation of time into temperature. Concrete strength is a function of summation of products of time and temperature. This is known as maturity of the concrete. Moving on to the next slide. Temperature is, we are talking about maturity of the concrete. So here temperature is renowned from an origin lying between uh, 12 degrees Celsius to minus 10 degree. It was experimentally found that hydration of the concrete continues up to take place up to minus 11 degree Celsius. Datum line for computing the maturity. And maturity value of fully matured concrete. So what should be the maturity value? So it has some constant by Plowman's experiment, and the sample of the concrete cured at 18 degrees Celsius for 28 days is taken as fully matured concrete, as we discussed earlier. Like 28 days strength is taken as a maximum strength, and it is considered as a fully matured concrete. Its maturity would be equal to, so how to calculate, so 18 degrees Celsius for 28 days. So 28 days fully matured concrete, how to calculate the maturity? So that is equal to 28 into 28 into 18 minus 11. So that is 18 minus 11. So why you are considering 11? Because so that is taken continuous, the hydration of the concrete continues up to minus 11 degree. So 18 minus of minus 11, so that is equal to 19,488 degree. And if the strength of a fully matured concrete is known, it is possible to estimate the strength of other identical concrete by using maturity concept. So next, in standard calculation, maturity of a fully cured concrete is taken as 19,800 degree. And so how to calculate the percentage of maturity strength? So that is by using a formula, a plus b log base 10 maturity divided by 1000. So how to calculate this maturity? That is by using the formula as I have shown in the earlier slide. So percentage of maturity strength is equal to a plus b log 10 maturity divided by 1000. So strength after 18 days at 18 degree Celsius, maturity of 19,800 degrees 800 degree. So they make it in megapascal value. So what should be? So to calculate, so if the 18 days at 18 degree Celsius, so if it is given, that is less than 17.5, 17.5 to 35, 35 to 52 megapascal, and 52 to 70. So what should be? What should be the coefficient? Uh, coefficient that is for AB less than 17.5, it is 10, 68, 21, 61, and so on. is about, so we'll be talking about the shrinkage. So all of you are, so generally if we talk about shrinkage, so what do you mean by shrinkage? So that is nothing but change in volume. So usually when we talk about shrinkage, so shrinkage can be, reverse shrinkage can be defined as or described as change in volume. So that is nothing but evaporation of water. So when there is evaporation of water, obviously the material will get shrink. In addition to deformation caused by applying stress, volume changes due to shrinkage and temperature variation. So due to during summer season, obviously there will be evaporation of water and the material will get shrink, and there will be change in volume, and variation are of considerable importance because practically these movements are partly or fully retained and other, and therefore they induce stresses. Shrinkage is caused due to loss of water, as I told, loss of water by evaporation or by hydration of the cement, and also by carbonation. Due to shrinkage, there is reduction in volume, and the volumetric strain is equal to 3 times linear contraction, and in practice we'll measure the shrinkage as linear strain. So generally presence of cracks in the floor and the pavements is due to shrinkage. So why these cracks occur? Because there will be like loss of water or by evaporation the cement will get dry, and there you can see cracks on the surface, or it may be the pavement. What are the types of shrinkage? So types of shrinkage may be of different types: plastic shrinkage, drying shrinkage, carbonation shrinkage, and autogenous shrinkage. So there are four types of shrinkage. So what do you mean by plastic shrinkage? So shrinkage occurs as soon as concrete is placed in the form while the concrete is still in the plastic state. What do you mean by plastic state? Just the concrete starts to crumble. Like the water, it just starts to. So the main cause of plastic shrinkage is due to loss of water by evaporation from the surface of the concrete or by absorption by the aggregate or subgrade. This results in reduction of volume. And plastic shrinkage is mainly observed in the floors and the pavement where the surface area exposed to drying in large or compared to the depth. When this large surface is exposed to hot sun and dry wind, the surface of the concrete dries very fast, resulting shrinkage from cracks. Richer concrete also undergoes greater plastic shrinkage. So what are the causes of the plastic shrinkage? High water cement ratio, badly proportioned mix, and rapid drying, unintended vibration, yielding of the formwork, and greater bleeding. So next, shrinkage occurs in a bleeding. Poorly made concrete with high water cement ratio due to the fact large quantity of water bleeds and accumulate at the surface. When the water at the surface dries out and the surface concrete collapse, causing the cracks. See what are the points I have highlighted. So just give importance for that. If the concrete is subjected to an intended vibration or when former support starts yielding, it leads to plastic shrinkage. The cause of shrinkage are high water cement ratio and rapid drying. So as I've told in the previous slide, like what are the causes, and there are no way or no, there are number of ways to reduce the plastic shrinkage. That is, the rapid loss of water from the surface can be prevented by covering the surface, that either by membrane curing with the polythene sheets, by nanomolecular coating, by fog spray that keeps the surface moist, by bulking at night, by vibration of the concrete in the controlled manner, and by the use of aluminium powder, etc. The second one, that is drying shrinkage. So after concrete has set and hardened, it is called as dry shrinkage, and most of it taken place with a few months after placing. So, just as hydration of the cement is an everlasting process, the dry shrinkage is also the same. And it is seen that concrete made with smaller aggregates shrinks more than the concrete made with the bigger sized aggregates. So, the smaller sized aggregate, either it may be 8 mm, 6 mm. So, we are talking about the coarse aggregate. So, it shrinks more than the concrete made with the bigger sized aggregate. And the magnitude of the drying shrinkage is also a function of fineness of a gel. The finer the gel, more will be the shrinkage. And the magnitude of the shrinkage can be reduced but cannot be eliminated. One is autogeneous shrinkage. So, where no moisture movement to or from the paste is permitted when the temperature is constant, some shrinkage may occur. The shrinkage of such conservative system is known as autogeneous shrinkage. It is not of much importance for majority of the situation except that of a large concrete dam. And the autogeneous shrinkage strain is about so when we apply the load on a surface area, it shrinks up to 100 into 10 to the power 6 at the age of 5 and the
Yes.
last one, the next one, that is carbonation shrinkage. So here the carbon dioxide present in the atmosphere reacts in the presence of water with hydrated cement mineral, converting calcium hydroxide, that is CaOH2, to calcium carbonate, CaCO3. So here the carbon dioxide, that is CO2, present in the atmosphere reacts with the hydrated cement and converting these two carbon dioxide to calcium hydroxide to calcium carbonate. The carbonation penetrates beyond the exposed surface of the concrete only very slowly. The rate of penetration of the carbon dioxide depends upon the moisture content and relative humidity. It occurs by increase in weight of the concrete and the shrinkage. If the depth of carbonation reaches steel reinforcement, alkalinity reduces and steel starts for corroding because pH will reduce 13 to 18.3, the protective layer get destroyed. So next one, what are the factors affecting the shrinkage? So how this shrinkage will, or from what factors the shrinkage will get affected? Relative humidity, time dependent, water cement ratio, richness of the concrete, size and modulus of elasticity of aggregating, grading of aggregate, and moisture movement. So next is relative humidity. So next, what do you mean by creep? The degree of curvature of the stress strain relation depends upon any factor among which the intensity of the stress and time for which the load is acting, or in other words, so here it is given as, what do you mean by the definition of the creep is nothing but relationship between the stress and the strain for concrete is a function of time. So according to the time, so as we apply the stress, how it get effect or how the strain curve occurs. The gradual increase in the strain without increase in the stress with the time is due to creep. It is defined as the time dependent. Creep is mainly dependent upon the time, part of the strain resulting from the stress. The stress strain relationship of a concrete is not a straight line relationship but a curved one. Creep is also defined as increase in strain under sustained stress. So, as I told earlier, and it is also seen that all material undergo creep under some conditions of loading to a greater or smaller extent, but concrete creep for a long time. And here the line function of a stress up to 30 to 40% of its strength. And here in the next In the next slide, you can see the graph which shows the relationship between the strain and the time under constant stress value of 150 kW. So you can see here the time since application of the load in days and the strain curve. So how instantaneous, so how it increases and then gradual decrease, and there will be creep recovery. So there will be, so here you can see the graph which shows a constant value for a given time. So there is no strain, but here there is a gradual increase, and here it is a recovery, instantaneous recovery. So it drops and it remains constant. So the creep recovery, and there is a residual deformation. From the graph, it can see that the specimen instantaneously recovers the elastic strain on the removal of the flow, and the magnitude of the instantaneous recovery of the elastic strain is something less than that of the magnitude of the elastic strain on loading with time certain of the creep. Strain is also recovered, that is up to 15%. So next, how you will measure, or how we'll measure the creep. It is usually determined by measuring the change with the time in the strain of specimens subjected to constant stress and stored under appropriate condition. And under compressive stress, so when we give a compressive stress, the creep measurement is associated with the shrinkage of the concrete. But by this correction is qualitatively correct and is a usable result. See here a loading device for the measurement of the creep of the concrete. A concrete cylinder, so cylinder specimen is placed after casting here. So you can see here the total deformation. So deformation and the time since application of the load. So elastic strain. So there is a shrinkage, and for a instantaneous time, so there will be a total deformation, and you call it as a creep. It is generally assumed that the creep continues to assume a limiting value after infinite time under load. It is estimated that 26% of 20 years creep occurs in 2 weeks, 55% of creep occurs in 3 months. So just see the difference. So 26% of the creep occurs in 26% of 20 years creep occurs in 2 weeks, and 55% of 20-year creep occurs in 3 months. Ross suggested, so according to Ross, relationship between the specific creep um, C and time under load T is in the form where A and B are constant, that is C is equal to T divided by A plus B. So along x-axis it is taken as days, T in days, and along y-axis it is T by C. If the graph is drawn in T in x-axis and T by C in y-axis, it shows a straight line of slope B and intercept it on the T, T by A, T by C is equal to A. So here you can see the slope. So when we draw a curve, when we draw a line of our T days and T by C, so we'll get a slope, and it is represented by B, and it intersect at a line that is along y axis, so T by C. So this value is known as A, and then the constant can be easily found out. The ultimate creep of infinite time will be L by B. It is intends to observe that when T is equal to A by, and if that is one half of the ultimate creep is realized to at tan T is equal to A by B, and the formula can be altered as C is equal to A by B divided by A plus A by B is equal to 1 by 2B. So when we simplify this formula, we'll be getting that as 1 by 2B. So what are the effects of creep? So the main factor being time and levels of the stress. And in reinforced concrete beam, creep increases the deflection with time and may be critical consideration in design. Under load immediately elastic deformation takes place, concrete creeps and deforms. It cannot deform independent of the steel reinforcement, and there will be gradual transfer of the stress from the concrete to the steel. Creep property of the concrete will be useful in all concrete structures to reduce the internal stress due to non-uniform load or restrain shrinkage. Care must be taken to see that increase in temperature does not take place in the interior of the mass of the concrete. Listening. And this is about the part 1. So here we have discussed about the compaction of the concrete, or it may be what are the types of shrinkage, gel ratio, and how it can be determined, what is the relationship between the compressive strength and the gel space ratio, and the what do you mean by creep and factors affecting creep. So the remaining topics about the hardened concrete. So what are the tests to determine the properties of the hardened concrete will be continuing in the next class. Thank you.